Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Join me once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News today. We're going to start off with some news in the heavyweight division, simply because it's getting more and more confusing every day and seems like it requires explaining every day. It seems that Tyson Fury will, in fact, be fighting Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champ, as a date has been announced, October 28th, set to take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And that's according to Mike Coppinger over at ESPN. However, WBC President Mauricio Silliman did not respond, when asked whether Fury's WBC heavyweight title will be on the line. Nor were the rules and number of rounds for the contest announced at the time either. So we will see if, in fact, Tyson Fury will, in fact, take that exhibition match and whether he'll give up that belt or whether that belt will be taken away. However, in related news, Sean Jones over at BoxingNews24.com reports that Eddie Hearn says Tyson Fury should be required to make a mandatory defense of his WBC heavyweight title if he faces Francis. And Hearn says that Fury will be getting 40 to 50 million bucks for the Ngannou exhibition. Alexander Usyk's promoter, Alex Krychuk, wants Fury to be stripped of his WBC belt if he takes the exhibition match. And frankly, it's up to the WBC to press Fury to defend against his mandatory, because without them putting his feet to the fire, he's going to fight whoever he pleases. As we all know, Fury fought 39-year-old journeyman Derek Chisora, and he didn't really deserve to fight for a world title anyway. He had lost 3 out of his last 4 fights. So Fury is simply sitting on his WBC title, looking to make some easy coin instead of taking legacy fights against either Usyk or Anthony Joshua. Now, speaking of Anthony Joshua, he was hitting the microphone regarding his upcoming fight against Dillian Whyte, who he is very focused on, because he said, with respect to Deontay Wilder, he doesn't think it's going to happen. However, let's have a quick look and see what was said at his press conference when he was talking about possibly facing Wilder in Saudi Arabia in December or January. When urged for his view, quite frankly, he said, "Forget Wilder and all them lot. They've been doing my head in for years," said Joshua. "Even with Fury, you can see all the lies that have been going on. I'm 34 this year. I'm not wasting my time chasing people. I've had to have underlying respect for every man who steps in the ring with me. I could fight now. I've got a brilliant trainer, a serious trainer, but we'll see where it goes." So Joshua's admission will absolutely shock UK fans who had their hopes pinned on a Wilder fight happening after 7 years of rumors. Currently, Wilder is in talks with Andy Ruiz Jr., as we all know, and with the possible rematch clause inserted into the WC final eliminator, meaning Joshua could now be left behind, quite frankly. The London has to beat Dillian Whyte on August 12th to keep himself in any chance of facing either Wilder or Fury. However, he went on to say 2 things. He has a dream scenario, that of fighting Dillian Whyte, then Deontay Wilder, and then Tyson Fury, with him beating them all. Now, he also added, dreams are fake. The reality is Joshua will fight Whyte next, and very likely Wilder after that, in that much talked of Saudi mega fight, as we've all been yapping about for the past couple of months. But he may never get Fury in the ring with him. Speaking to Sky Sports, Joshua said in a possible, with respect to his rematch against Whyte, he said, people are starting to see why the Fury fight didn't happen. There are indeed a lot of Fury critics who feel it was he, the reigning WBC heavyweight champ, who caused the collapse of the Joshua and Usyk fights, with Fury being deliberately impossible to negotiate with. Joshua, who told the media basically, Yuri didn't duck, Fury did. Sorry, Usyk didn't duck, Fury did. He doesn't want to lay the boot in, overly criticize another fighter, but his frustration showed through in the new Sky Sports interview. He said, "I'm not disappointed. That's just the reality we live in. That's the reality. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but I'm not disappointed because we know why. People are starting to see this is just how boxing goes. Sometimes people are it's just a shame, but it is what it is. None of my business. If it was me, I would have gone in there and fought, but it's not me, so I can't really comment on another man's decisions. Yes, it would be a dream scenario to fight Wilder, and then Fury, but dreams are fake, and this is reality. So the reality is Joshua will get to fight White next, and if he wins, then Wilder, possibly. But will Fury ever agree to terms to fight Joshua? Fury has shouted and screamed about what he would do with Joshua if he did fight him, but he's never gone beyond hot air and boasting. In an ideal world, Joshua is still the biggest star in the heavyweight division, and White would get to fight Wilder, and then Fury. We don't know how the fights would go as far as who would win, but Joshua does seem to genuinely want to have these fights happen. It's up to you. It's down to what you believe in. As Joshua says, people are starting to see. So what do you see, fight fans? What do you see happening? I'll tell you what is happening. Alycia Baumgardner is going up against Christina Linardatou. It's taking place in the hometown, the adopted hometown of Baumgardner, set to take place at Masonic Temple in Detroit. They're fighting for the Undisputed junior lightweight belt, and it's a rematch. I've said Baumgardner. She said, I've worked a long time to get here, to get to this Undisputed, to avenge this loss. In camp with, which is Matchroom Boxing's podcast on YouTube. Hard work pays off, she said. I'm going to say that. It's something I'm looking forward to. Meanwhile, Linardatou, who's 14-2, by the way, earned a split decision in their July 2018 meeting. It's a time when Baumgardner was an unbeaten prospect, but also stuck in a horrible contract with Evander Holyfield's now defunct Real Deal Promotions. She's since signed with Marshall Kaufman's King Promotions and has won 8 straight, the last 4 of which have come with Matchroom as her co-promoter, and all with at least one title at stake. So she's riding a 14-1 record, 7 knockouts, and hit the road in November 2021 with a 4th-round knockout of unbeaten WBC junior lightweight titleist Terry Harper. It's a breakthrough performance, quite frankly, and 2 fights later, she added the lineal IBF and WBO titles in a 10-round decision with unbeaten unified champ Michaela Mayer. That took place, as we all know, last October. Hoping of facing unbeaten WBA titleist Hyun Mui Choi for the Undisputed Championship came with a compromise. Baumgardner still challenged for the WBA belt, though versus Ilham Makhlad, or after Choi was downgraded to champion in recess for failure to defend. Baumgardner scored 2 knockdowns in a unanimous decision, went to fully unified division back in February at Madison Square Garden's Hulu Theater in New York City. And it would mark Baumgardner's first U.S. fight in 18 months, though plans were already in place for a Detroit homecoming. And there you have it. I'll take place, as I said, at the Masonic Temple in Detroit this weekend. All right, let's go down under. No Limit Boxing have unveiled its largest ever schedule of shows to kick off the second half of 2023. Australia's leading promoter will showcase 4 stacked fight nights across just 6 weeks, including the first ever all-female card on Fox Sports in Australia and a bumper Nikita Tsayu and Liam Wilson doubleheader. The made of television No Limit on Fox events will all take place at Hoops Capital East at the Entertainment Quarter in Moore Park, Sydney, and will be shown live and exclusive on Fox Sports and KO Sports. Additional fights and undercard details are coming shortly. Let's talk about the first fight. Headline his first No Limit Boxing event is highly entertaining prospect and 2020 Tokyo Olympian Paulo Akosu. He's 4-0 for 3 knockouts. He's going up against former IBO super middleweight champ Ronald Quinlan, 16-12, in a non-title headliner over 8 rounds. Akosu said, I'm very excited. It'll be my first time headlining a fight. Quinlan is a very dangerous fighter, so I'm going to have to stay on the whole time. We've been working on that, so we think we have him figured out. Then, the all-female fight taking place on Wednesday, July 26th, headlined by Taylor Harris, going up against Millicent Agbuagbulan. No Limit Boxing's historic first all-female fight card at the Hoops Capital East in Sydney. as I said, headlined by superstar Taylor Harris. She's 8-0-1, 4 knockouts, going up against Agbo Bulan, 2-1 for the Australian super welterweight title. Harris returns to the ring for the second time this year, having dominated Connie Chan in Melbourne following a more than a 3-year layoff. Rising star Ella Boot, 4-0, trained by legendary Johnny Lewis, will defend her Australian light welterweight strap on home soil against mixed martial arts convert Annie Thatcher. That's her boxing debut, by the way. Also on the card, Australian super featherweight champ Angel Rushton, 3-1. She's going to take on Jala Tomat, 2-1, and Tywarner Campbell, 3-2-1, versus Natasha Kureen, 1-0, in 2 cracking super featherweight fights. Taylor Harris said, I can't wait to get back in there. I'm always on all year. Obviously, I've got football as well, so I'm always fit. And every time I get the chance to step in the ring, I'll make the most of it. And this fight will be no different. I think the opportunity this event holds for me is much bigger than just winning the fight. I think there's a lot to be said about an all-female boxing event. And for No Limit, to have the courage to put it on is something I'm really proud of and thankful for. The hard-hitting, fast-talking Isaac Hardman, by the way, is going up against Kazuku Kayahara on Wednesday, August 9th. And that's also, as I said, taking place in Sydney. Hardman, a former ranked middleweight and last year's Knockout of the Year winner in Australia, takes on, as I said, Kayahara, who's 6-1-3 from Japan. And details on the remaining card are going to be released soon on August 23rd. That's when you're going to see Nikita Taiu take on Liam Wilson. It's a doubleheader. Knockout artist Nikita Taiu, 6-0, 5 knockouts, and Liam Wilson, 11-2, 7 knockouts, will return to action on August 23rd. Further details coming, including 2 international bouts to be announced as well. Sayu's unprecedented run is set to continue, having stopped 5 unbeaten fighters in 6 professional fights to date. The bout will just be in time. As Taiu has competed at the iconic Hadoran Pavilion, with his last fight being a Fight of the Year contender against number 1 welterweight Ben Horn that took place last July. The Sydney-based slugger is fresh off a career best display in Melbourne, when he produced a viral first-round knockout of previously undefeated rival Benjamin Bomber in May. Woo, good stuff. George Rose, No Limit CEO, said, we started 23 with a bang, and now we're taking it to the next level with a run of high-quality, all-action shows fight fans have come to expect from us. These are career-changing nights for fighters, rising stars looking to make their mark, world-ranked opponents going to war, and Australian and international title fights where absolutely everything goes on the line. I'm really happy with the schedule put together over the next 6 weeks, which includes the returns of some fan favorites, our first all-female fight card, and a massive Nikita Taiu and Liam Wilson doubleheader next month. Over the next month and a half, fight fans will get to see the likes of Nikita Taiu, Liam Wilson, Paulo Akosu, Tyler Harris, Isaac Hardman, Ella Boot, Joseph Dib, Jack Brubaker, and more. That's a pretty epic lineup if you ask me. There you go. Let's recap their full schedule. July 19th, Hoops, Capital East, Moore Park, Sydney. A big fight between Paulo Akosu and Reynold Quinlan over 8 rounds, light heavyweight division. July 26th, Taylor Harris and Millicent Agbuagbulan, 8 rounds for the Australian super welterweight title, as well as let's list off these other girls: Ella Boot, Annie Thatcher, Angel Ruston, Jala Tomat, Tivana Campbell, Natasha Kareen, and Jess Messina versus Zoe Putarak. That's a welterweight clash, by the way. August 9th, Isaac Hardman, as I said, taking on Kayahara from Japan, middleweight division. And on August 23rd, and Nikita Taiu and Liam Wilson and others to be announced. So good stuff coming from us to you via No Limit Boxing in Australia. Around the world, up here near me, Three Lions Promotions have announced a September 30th card in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, headlined by a 12-round cruiserweight clash between former world title challenger and WBC number 7 Ryan the Bruiser Rosicki, 18-1, 17 knockouts, fighting out of Sydney, Nova Scotia, and current WBC NABF champ, WBC number 18, Alante Bam Bam Green, 10-1-1, 7 knockouts, fighting out of Cleveland, Ohio, in the US of A. Rosicki Ranked in the top 10 by all four major sanctioning bodies, suffered his only loss against Oscar Rivas back in 2021. He got a record, by the way, of 28-1. That's Oscar Rivas, by the way, 19 knockouts, when he challenged for the vacant WBC Bridgerweight title. Since then, Rosicky has gone on to win all of his last 5 scheduled bouts, 4 of them being stopped before the end of the 3rd round. Great for him. Green, by the way, became NABF champ back in November 2021, beating his fellow countryman, the then undefeated Taylor Dwyer of Detroit, by technical knockout in the 6th round for the vacant title. Since then, Green moved up to heavyweight, where he suffered his only loss by way of controversial split decision against the highly ranked heavyweight George Arias, 18-1, by the way, 7 knockouts. So he said, I hear Rosicky saying all the cruiserweights have been avoiding him, and maybe they all have, but I ain't. I stepped up in weight my last fight just like he did because no one division wanted to fight me. No, September 30th, I'm going to win and spoil his night, that's for sure. Very good stuff out of Three Lions Promotions. Quickly, we'll end up today's episode with a quick note on Shadasia Green, who we've mentioned on Talkin' Fight, on Not Knuckle Up specifically, and she's set to fight Olivia Curry on August 5th, and that's on the undercard of the Jake Paul-Nate Diaz fight, which we mentioned yesterday, though I didn't have time to mention this female fight. Green, 33, will be fighting for the 2nd time this year, having beaten Ellen Sidirus in February to become the WBC's mandatory challenger. She's sporting a 12-0 record, 11 knockouts, by the way, and has stopped every fighter she's faced since the start of 2020. Curry, though, she's 7-1, 2 knockouts, and ESPN's number 4 middleweight, last fought in April when she beat Olivia Garula by unanimous decision. And there you go, fight fans. Thanks for joining me here once again on Talkin' Fight. I appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And we'll see you later on at 4 p.m. Eastern Time when I join Mike Orr for his show, Knuckle Up.